What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. This one is pretty interesting, right? So we've been in kind of a drought when it comes to classic WoW content and news, and in that drought I've decided to pick up New World once again for the relaunch. Now, something really interesting is happening here. Now, I played New World back in the original launch in 2021, and I had fun for a little bit, but the game had so many issues, right? So fast forward to today, the game has relaunched last week, as of last Tuesday, October 15th, and the game has hooked me pretty bad. And for anyone who is a subscriber of this channel, I am a classic WoW focused channel. Like, all I play is classic WoW. I've been playing WoW for 20 years at this point. I love the game. We're in a little bit of a drought, so I decided to pick up New World and play with some other classic WoW streamers and some friends. And I wanted to make this video to give people a better understanding of this game with the relaunch, because there's a stigma surrounding this game, a little bit of controversy from the original launch, and I think that it's not really fair to judge this relaunch without giving it a try. Now, want to let you guys know that I have played through the entire story, the entire campaign. I've hit max level. I've done PvP. Right now I'm working on, my gear and all that stuff, doing expeditions and all of that. And so I have a pretty good understanding of how the normal person is going to play this game, how the casual person is going to play, how the hardcore player is going to play. And I want to give some of my insights on this. We could tab over to my actual gameplay screen here so you guys can see that I'm not, not messing around. My character is level 65. We are in a tanking spec right now. I've played a few other specs, some range specs. And the first thing that I want to talk about here is that I think that if you are on the fence about giving this game a try, you need to throw the controversy and the stigma behind the original launch out the window, right? If you look at some other games like Final Fantasy, the original launch was an absolute disaster. It was an absolute disaster, and then the game turned out to be really successful and still is to this day. Basically, what I want to say here is that this is the first time in a long time that I am having this amount of fun in an MMO. I'm having an absolute blast. This game, for anyone who's played WoW in the past, this relaunch is giving like vanilla WoW, old school MMO vibes to the fullest extent. And on top of that, the game is just beautiful. Like, look at these zones and these landscapes, like, actually beautiful. Next level compared to other MMOs that I've played, right? And, you have the choice to run it in, like, DirectX 12 beta or the normal version. This is the normal version. I have been running it in the DX12 version, and it looks even better on there. So, aside from that, the landscape, the design of the world feels really big. There is fast traveling, but it still feels extremely large, right? There's another cool feature about this game where if, let's say you mount up, right? And you want to go grab a drink of water, so you start auto-running. I can take my hands off of my mat, and it will auto-follow the road for you. It won't stop for you. You can't put in a preset path, but it will follow the road for you, which is really, really nice. And so you could get up, take a break, go get some water, go take a leak, whatever it is that you need to do, right? The combat in this game is not your standard tab targeting combat like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy. It's more of an action-based combat, so aiming does matter when you're playing ranged. There is a lock-on feature, so like if we lock onto this thing right here, I could show you guys. We get close enough. You see I've locked onto it now, and I can move side to side. It will stay locked on, which is really, really useful when you're running like a melee build. So what I'm running right now is Flail and Shield, and I'm also running Great Axe. So, yeah, for me, this is kind of like a tanking / my PvP spec. Really, really enjoying it. The animations for the spells look fantastic as well. Like, as you can see, this stuff is really cool. I can pull people towards me with this axe, drag them in and then just slam them down. Like, it's really, really immersive is what I'm getting at here. Between the design, the way that all the animations look and feel, they updated a ton of the animations from the original launch. The leveling process was so incredibly smooth. I didn't do a single side quest the entire way to the cap level. I followed the story, the MSQ the entire way, and it brought me pretty much right to the max level. I think I did like one side quest at the end there to push myself over the top, which is really nice. So The leveling feels really fluid. It feels really good. The design feels really good. If you like action style combat, the combat feels fantastic. And then there's just tons of stuff to do. So if you go to your activities menu, you have 3v3 arenas. There's an entire PvP track that you level up. You have Outpost Rush, which is a 20v20 PvP experience, kind of like a King of the Hill type of thing. You have your expeditions, which are dungeons, your mutated expeditions, which are like Mythic Plus in World of Warcraft. You have your 10-player raid that they just launched with this expansion, Soul Trials, which are basically like single-player boss fights, really, that you kind of queue up into, and you're going to do a ton of them throughout the MSQ, which are really cool. You basically get to this portal, you zone in, it's an instance thing where there's just like this massive boss with tons of mechanics that you have to follow to defeat that boss and then progress in the story, and then you can go back and also do them over and over again. Feels really, really fun. The leveling process is very seamless and really, really enjoyable. The combat is top tier. The PvP, like this game really, really thrives in PvP, and there's just so much to do in PvP. Like if you look here, this is a classless MMO, right? It's not like World of Warcraft where you're creating your character and you pick, you know, mage or whatever. You basically pick your starting weapon in the beginning, and then that doesn't really matter after that. If every weapon levels up to level 20, and then as you progress in levels with that weapon, each weapon has 2 different talent trees that you can go down. So you could really get very crafty here in terms of like combining different weapons and things like that. You have like your attribute tree, right? These are basically like, you get like 4 or 5 points every time you level up, and you can put them in here. And then it tells you what weapon scales with that attribute, right? So I'm running Great Axe and the Flail and Shield. So Strength scales with the Flail and Shield and with the Great Axe, so that's really good for me. I put a little bit into Focus here to just get me a little bit more healing, so I have more sustain in PvP, and then Constitution is obviously health. Everything, you know, no weapons really need to scale off of that. That's just your health. So it's a pretty in-depth system, and then on top of that, which I really haven't dabbled that much into it, is the crafting system. This game, basically, in a nutshell, took like the RuneScape, the old school RuneScape style of crafting, and threw it into a mix of like a normal MMO. Like basically like if World of Warcraft and old school RuneScape came together, fell in love, and birthed a child, that's what this game feels like to me, right? You can do crafting and gathering forever, right? You know, the only thing I've done is chop down some trees. Let me see if I can find a tree and just show you guys. You know, you have your trade skill weapons. I have an iron logging axe, a journeyman pickaxe, a skinning knife, a harvesting sickle, and my fishing rod. So I wonder if we could chop down this tree. Let's check it out. We might not be able to, but okay, we can. So you just walk up to it, you start chopping. It's just like RuneScape. You leave it, you know, the bigger trees take a little bit longer. You get some logging experience. We just leveled up to 64. That then gives you wood that you can then turn into timber, planks, whatever, and then that's used in construction, engineering. There is like literally so many different trade skills. You could play the entire game through trade skills if that's really what you want to do. So there is just an endless amount of content there. And like I said before, there's a PvP track. As you PvP, you level up here. You have your free battle pass that you basically just earn rewards by playing the game, which is really nice. And then there's a premium battle pass, obviously, which I haven't invested in yet. I might, since I'm really enjoying the game a lot more than I thought I was going to. You know, I initially booted up this game thinking that I was going to play maybe for like a week or two while waiting for some you know, classic WoW news. And this has really turned into like, I don't really see myself not playing this game in the foreseeable future. I'm having way too much fun, and I've barely scratched the surface with this game. So if you decide that you want to pick this game up, really, I do think that you are going to get enough hours of enjoyment out of this game to justify the price point. Or maybe if you even already own it and you want to, you're on the fence about jumping back in and giving it a shot. I really wanted to make this video to let I know a lot of my audience is World of Warcraft players just like myself. If you did try this back in 2021 and you don't want to give into that controversy or the stigma behind the game and you're like, oh, I don't want to try it, it's crap. I think that they really did a complete 180 on this game. They fixed so many of those initial issues that were plaguing the launch, and the game is just fun to play. It's fun to level up in. Even if you don't touch the end game content, there's like there's hours and hours and hours of fun just leveling to the end game or just doing the professions. So if you're on the fence and you're asking if this is worth it to jump back into if you already own it, yes. If you don't already own the game and you want to pick it up either on console or on PC, my answer would be the same. I think this game is very, very worth the price point. It's phenomenal. It looks great. It feels great to play. The community seems pretty cool as of right now. You can, when you're in major towns, you know, there's tons and tons of people around just playing music. You could play instruments in this game, which then buff people around you, and then people can tip you for playing the instrument. Like, it's so cool, in my opinion. There's a lot of things that New World did right and has fixed from the original launch. I think that this was the problem from the beginning. I think they really needed 3 more years to develop this game and really flesh it out to be like a full game that feels like a polished and finished game. And that's what this feels like. So if you're watching this video asking, is it worth it? Would you jump in? From an MMO player's perspective, from a World of Warcraft player's perspective, and we're pretty biased towards WoW. We don't like to play other games. This game has knocked my socks off, and I'm really happy that I decided to play it. So if you guys do decide to play, by the way, we are on Cathasia, the Fresh Start server. We are running a guild, and we're trying to dominate this entire map. So join my Discord. There's a link in the description below if you want to get into the guild. And yeah, we're gonna take over this game. We're gonna collect taxes from everyone on this server. We are the Everfall tax collectors. But if you want to hang out with me live, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/hammerdance. Link in the description below. I stream every weeknight, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And subscribe to the channel. We're mainly a classic WoW channel, but we're kind of branching out into some more MMO content as of late. And we're having a good time doing it. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I want you to keep those hammers up, and I'll see you next time.